All right, how's it going? And how about them Cowboys? Terrible, terrible result yesterday. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Shane Harris. Of course, to my left is the podcast OG, Mr. Oliver Butler Henderson, and welcome to another edition of the Third and Long podcast. What a day we had yesterday. How are you, Ollie? How's things?
Just about covering from this weekend, mate. I've had a mental weekend. I'm 1 year older, and I can now say a golf tournament winner. Something
Oh,
I'd
yeah, of
never
course, it was your
ever,
birthday Thursday.
nothing I'd never hear myself say again. But yes, yeah, it was really good, man. Yeah, good. Glad to be back on the show. I missed you boys on Thursday. I won't lie.
I'm going
But
to
yeah,
say,
how
but
are
yeah,
you?
we
How are
always miss
you?
you when you're not here.
Oh, that's sweet.
After yesterday's, well, let's be honest, I'm blaming the rain, but we'll get more into that later on. Phil is not here, as you can see, he's a little under the weather, and our other brother in arms, Ollie Bear,
Probably
is he
asleep.
home now from Slovenia? Yeah, he's probably
Yeah,
asleep.
I think he landed about 2 hours ago or something like that. So he's probably somewhere between an airport and a bed.
We'll have, we should, touch wood and all that, have a full set come this Thursday. So, Ollie,
Oh
do you want
yes.
to begin with? Do you want to begin with the news?
Yeah, we've had a couple of little bits of breaking news happened literally in the last couple of hours. We'll go through them very quickly, and obviously we'll go into more depth on Thursday night show. Obviously Mike Williams is out for the season with an ACL. Big blow for the Chargers for them. And it's been reported that JC Jackson's got a warrant for arrest in the Massachusetts Boston area. So, yes, interesting. It's never quite in the NFL, is it?
Oh no, there's always something going on, and it makes you wonder with all these ACL injuries and such. Like, where's it all coming from? Is it more adding more fuel to the fire of the turf versus artificial grass argument?
Well, Viking Stadium is turf. I'm just going to
Yeah,
put
so
that
it
as,
may
and
just
that's what
be,
it was. I mean, then again, even if it was SoFi, it's still turf, so it doesn't really matter.
yeah.
It is. I did read somewhere that it would cost the NFL 12 million to change all the stadiums to real turf, to grass from turf. That's pocket change to them, surely. But yeah, it's getting ridiculous at the moment. There's too many players getting far too many injuries at the moment. I'll tell you
100%,
what,
100%.
I do miss Shane and Ollie, Phil and Ollie, but I'm so glad they're not here this week because they're getting a bit insufferable
Careful
with
with
me.
your next words.
They're getting a bit insufferable, aren't they? I mean, like, the Giants gave them this game. The Giants kept themselves in it for a majority of this game. I heard Phil throw a bit of shade towards me and my supporter, Mac Jones. I'm not going to go that low, saying I'm going to die on the hill, because I won't. I will, there is time where Matt goes, yeah, okay, it's time for him to go. But Brock Purdy has 0% of deep throws, connections as deep throws. I showed you the video earlier on.
Good.
And we both said, I think either me and you could play in that Kyle Shanahan offense and still be a success. What is it? More yards after catch than any other team in the NFL, this offense.
That's an incredible start, and it does make me wonder if, like, how he would do if he played for the likes of the Falcons or maybe the Jets.
I mean, I'm not gonna say he's like the worst quarterback in the league, because he isn't a bad quarterback. He does make the throws. His percentage is, his QBR rating's up there. He has got a fairly decent percentage and all that as well. But again, how many of that's down to the players? I mean, there was 2 or 3 throws that on Friday morning where he should have been picked off, and one of them, kids like to turn into a defensive back to stop the bloody pick.
Yeah,
he is a second-year player, so he's not a rookie. He's in his sophomore year, but he's only played 8 regular league games, 9 regular league games. So I should say now, and I think it's it shows he's making these rookie errors, not being able to play. I mean, there's nothing. The Giants had no Saquon Barkley. They had no one of their starting corners was out as well. Yeah, it was always going to be a difficult game for them. KK, we will talk about the Cards in a bit, mate.
I thought you'd be happy with that, boy. I thought, yeah, that's my buddy. He's a Cardinals fan for all his sins, but I thought he'd be happy with last night.
I mean, they have, we've said so many times that San Francisco have the best offense in this league, probably the best team in this league. They're a bit weaker secondary. They're a little bit weak on D-line, I think. If you take not D-line, D-line. If you take away Bosa and Armstead, I want to say. I may be wrong. No, Armstead's Eric Armstead. They're probably a little bit weak in there. But they will beat you down to a pulp, either by the run game or the throw game. I mean, what do you make of it? I mean, what do you think of the Giants and the Niners game?
Credit where credit's due. Kyle Shanahan's got that team firing on all cylinders. And the fact that I personally think that the Super Bowl is theirs to lose. I know we're only in week 3, but next week they got the Cardinals. They should be 4-0 after that game. But then saying that, upsets do happen in the NFL, which we will roll on to fairly shortly.
Yes, mate.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, you could. It does make you think. If they had a world-class quarterback, under center, with the rest of that team, they could build a dynasty. If they would have paid somebody in the offseason, somebody big, to come in, then they could have repeated the Patriots dynasty from the early 2000s. Back-to-back Super Bowls, or in more recent memory, the Kansas City. What Kansas City are doing right now? But I do genuinely think, I do genuinely think that they are probably the team to beat in the NFL at the moment. And the fact that we said on Thursday night that the Giants wouldn't win, and they didn't. And as you said, regardless of the fact that they were missing a few key starters, I still don't think they would have had a chance if they had their key starters there.
No, agreed. I mean, maybe Saquon, because Matt Brady only had 4 carries. Daniel Jones only had a couple of carries. They, without Saquon Barkley, that is like taking Christian McCaffrey out of the Niners offense. He is their go-to guy. He is their main guy. The problem is, if you take Saquon Barkley out of New York, there's your offense gone. But if you take Christian McCaffrey out of San Francisco, you've still got Debo, you've still got Kittle, you've still got Ayuk, you've still got
Ayuk, yeah.
Even the rookie Ronnie Bell had a good game, as well. There's a lot of players in that San Francisco team, and it's worrying. It is worrying. The way it's worked, the 3 host games are the first 3 games I've put down on this because that's how it was on ESPN.
Okay, right.
And it happens to be the wonderful New England.
Right.
So I did listen to what Mr. Perrins had to say, and he said, "Oh, New York are going to win, blah blah blah. They can't see anything happen, etc., etc." New York haven't beaten Patriots in now 15 games on the bounce. So I'm just going to put that there. Would it have been a different game with Aaron Rodgers? Maybe. There probably wouldn't have been as many 3-and-outs. The weather was horrible. Chad Ryland literally put one in what would have been in the corner flag. But the defense on this New England defense is genuine. It is a genuine top 5 defense in this league, I think. And it shut out Zach Wilson's offense, Brandon Cook, 18 yards. Breece Hall, 18 yards. Garrett Wilson, 48 yards. Alan Lazard, 38 yards. They had a total offense of less than 200 yards. I
think they put all their hope for the season in the Aaron Rodgers basket. And when he went down with that with that ACL injury, it was a massive punch to the gut,
Yeah.
and the fact that they basically got a ride on the coattails of somebody who wasn't good enough last season, and it doesn't look like to me he's good enough. Full stop. And like to Dalvin Cook, this is his third game now as a member of Gang Green, and what has he done? I thought he'd go
No.
in and I thought he'd do well, but he hasn't done anything.
So, yes, thank you very much for Kelly's just gone. Ryan Fitzpatrick was the last Jets QB to beat the Pats.
And they should bring him back.
So obviously I was coming back from Silverstone yesterday because I went to see the touring cars. Brilliant day out. And we had TalkSport 2 on because they always play have an NFL game, and they had the New York Patriots game on last night. And Nate Coons was coming back going, right, this is Zach Wilson's final chance. He is toast. I'm going to give Zach Wilson a bit of a reprieve, a bit of chance, whatever you want to call it. I don't think it is Zach Wilson's problem. I generally think it is Nathaniel Hackett's issue. Nathaniel Hackett, how many quarterbacks has he coached? Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Zach Wilson. How many quarterbacks has he had success with? Aaron Rodgers.
That's a fair point.
He was offensive coordinator in Green Bay for God knows how long. He then went to Denver with, yes, Russell Wilson isn't Aaron Rodgers. Should be. The offense isn't the same as it is in Green Bay. It isn't this offense in New York. Yet they should be able to get Zach Wilson, should be able to get 200-300 yards out of that offense every game at least. Crying loud, if Miami could do it with Tua, anyone could do it with Zach Wilson.
We will roll on to Tua fairly shortly. I think after yesterday, even you should be a believer now.
Yeah. Kelly agrees with you, Shayna. All those weapons they bought in specifically for Rodgers, and they are now lost with Wilson.
100%, 100%.
We saw obviously Hard Knocks, and we saw how Alan Lazard was telling Garrett Wilson what kind of calls and what kind of things that Aaron Rodgers likes, so Garrett Wilson can get at speed as quick as he can with Aaron Wilson, because Aaron Rodgers' side, because they know how good number 17 is in New York. But yeah, we had 3 of our starting corners out: Jack Jones, Jonathan Jones, and Marcus Jones. So the Jones twins were all out. 3 of our starting corners were out on Sunday, and Zach Wilson still didn't get anywhere near 200 yards throwing offense. Shows everything. It's going to be a bit harder now. Obviously, we go to Dallas. I can't see us beating Dallas, to be fair, even though Dallas looked really poor last night. I do see us getting 9 more wins this season. I do think we're going to go to 10-7. I can see us beating New Orleans, Las Vegas, Washington, Indianapolis, Giants, Chargers, Pittsburgh, and Denver. Obviously, and back to New York again. We won't be able to beat Buffalo. We won't beat Miami, and we won't beat Kansas.
Ollie, you know what they say, don't you? It's the hope that kills you.
It is indeedy, mate. It is indeedy. And as Ted Lasso says, he hates that saying, because without hope, we have nothing, mate.
Indeed, 100%.
On to your beloved team, my friend.
Oh, do I have to?
Aren't you lucky the Minshew lover's not here?
Right? And regular listeners or viewers to the pod will know that me and Phil are firm disciples of Minshew mania. So yesterday I was obviously cheering against him, and Kyle Hamilton had one hell of a first half. That's the first time a Ravens player has got 3 sacks in the first half in franchise history, which is an incredible stat in itself.
Safety, is it?
Exactly. That's exactly what I thought. He was there or thereabouts for the first half. It's just a shame that Just a shame that you couldn't translate that into a decent offensive performance. They had to rely on LJ to run in 2 touchdowns. You know, our
Yeah.
injury list is getting like Santa's Christmas list. Do you know what I mean? Again, already, and it's only the third game. Lamar threw for 31. Sorry, he threw 31 attempts and with 22 that were actually caught.
I was about to say, and he threw for
Uh,
31 yards. That's not very good.
I know. Well, yeah, being him, is entirely capable. He's entirely capable of that.
Yeah.
And I don't think the weather helped a lot yesterday either. It was belting down in. Whoa! Now, Ollie, can we ban her, please?
If
How
you want
dare
the
you
lift, if you want the
blaspheme?
lift in a couple of weeks, mate.
How dare you blaspheme the best kicker to ever do it, Kelly?
The greatest kicker of
Yeah,
all
like
time, yeah.
100%. Like I said, it's a case of it's the wind, it's the rain. I know you've got to sort of prepare for things like that. It's a hazard of the job, in all honesty. But yeah, I think like Zach Moss ran for 122 yards on us. He played really well as well.
Yeah, two
And
running backs.
I know, and I was like, and that's without Jonathan Taylor as well. But let's be real, right? We were never going to go undefeated all season. The wheels had to come off at some point. We shouldn't have beat the Bengals last week, but we did. We shouldn't have lost last night, but we did. That's
Yeah,
football.
I mean,
That's football.
the season will always equal itself out, no matter what.
Yeah.
But you do have an absolute gem wearing number 4.
Oh, I know.
Is he your next jersey?
I know. Do you know what? It was a toss-up between Marlon Humphrey and Justin Tucker, but I think they're both going to have to go out the window in favour of Zay Flowers, who was targeted 10 times yesterday, 8 receptions for 48 yards, which, yeah, I think, and also you've got to take into account that everyone's getting used to Todd Monken's offense as well. It's only the 3rd game in. But I'm not making excuses. We should have won yesterday, but we didn't. There was an awful call.
You
Yeah,
were livid about
as you can see. Yeah, as you can see, I wasn't very happy. There was an awful call, which was face mask on Zay Flowers, which we didn't get. And if we did get that, Tucker would have kicked for the win, but we didn't get it. But sometimes that's football,
Yeah,
swings and roundabouts.
I am going to say, because there was I've seen some dubious calls in the NFL this season. There's some really bad ones at the moment. I don't know. I'm gonna, before we jump onto Tennessee game, there is an issue with the officiating in this league, and I'm not going to palm it down on the officials. These officials have normal day jobs. There's doctors, there's lawyers, they have normal day jobs. They get paid by the NFL to a part-time job. It's like the Premier League now. You now get full-time referees. This is what the NFL needs to be doing. They're a billion-pound company. They can afford to make these officials actual paid full-time employees instead of being there. Give them the full-time training. Give them the extra support. And yeah, it's and then there may be less mistakes. We see it in our game over here in the UK. It's soccer, football. Even though they're professional, they still don't make mistakes. But yeah, there's something about the officials. It just seems to be really bad, and I do think it's the fact that they're not full-time referees.
Yeah, and I think a par for the course being an official in any sort of game which has a spotlight on it. You're under so much pressure. You make a wrong call. 30 years ago, you could have made a wrong call. There would have been a little investigation into it, and that would have been the end of it.
Yeah.
But now, with the advent of social media, you get all sorts of nonsense if a certain team doesn't win and you made an objectionable call. But at the end of the day, that's what you're paid to do. You're paid to make a judgment call and stick by it. You know yourself, Ollie, as with grassroots football, as with any stage of sports. When have you ever seen a referee change his mind when players come up to him and say, "That's not right, that's not right"?
Yeah, I know.
You've never seen it?
Yeah, it doesn't happen. It really doesn't happen.
No.
And it's the referee, I think rugby are probably the only sport that I've got it spot on.
Yeah.
because
I mean,
the
as we
players
say it, rugby, that's
respect.
one thing they do have going for them.
Yeah, they respect it. Sorry, Shayna, I don't really like to say this, but Cleveland looked really good.
Oh, we got them next week as well. I am not looking forward to this. As much as we may not like Deshaun Watson's questionable practices as a human being, I've always said it, I rate him highly as a player. The Browns have a very, very good quarterback on their hands.
Yeah, I accidentally, because when we were doing our draft, I had another draft running at the same time, so I didn't even do that one. I ended up drafting Deshaun Watson. He's one of my highest point scorers, actually. Right, he threw for 2 touchdowns of 27 for 33 for 289 yards. He only ran for 16 yards. Now, when we talk about scrambling quarterbacks, running quarterbacks, him and Lamar have always been up there with Josh Allen, and I can't think of any other ones off the top of my head now, and that's really bad. Deshaun Watson back in years ago, we've always thought of them. That's part of his game seems to settle down now. He seems to be right. If I need to scramble, then I'll go. But it's like, right, I'm going to sit here, wait, go through my progressions. And it's almost like that year out, it's like changed his style of game, or 2 years out, effectively. I think Tennessee have an issue there, and I do think they need to move on from Tannehill. What do you think? Can't hear you. Shayna, you muted yourself or gone quiet or something. Nope, Shayna, we've lost you, my friend. I think your headphones might have run out of power. Hey,
Go on,
I
keep
can hear you
talking.
now.
Sorry, but yeah, yeah. You were saying technical difficulties. You were saying about the fact that they should move on from Tannehill, who was really out there. Who's really out there
They've got two.
that they
They've
could
got
put.
two out
Yeah.
there.
Oh, you
They've
think
got.
Will Levis is ready? You think Malik Willis is ready?
Hey, you've drafted these two guys in the 3rd round and the 2nd round. You're gonna think they've got something there. Will Levis hasn't suited up for the last 2 weeks. He's been inactive, non-one, because obviously they got the 53 roster man. So only allowed 50. They're only allowed 48 players, I think it is, with game day. So you move it, give these guys a chance. All the news was coming out of a training camp. Malik Willis was really good. Rodney says to sort your mic out.
Sorry, Rune, that's better.
Because you've got DeAndre Hopkins, you've got Treylon Burks, who are really good wide receivers. They had 4 receptions between the two of them. 4.
It's not good, is it?
Amari Cooper had 7 on his own.
Yeah. Yeah, but Amari Cooper's good, and I'm only saying that because I drafted him in 2 of my fantasy teams. Yeah, I've always said, right. I cannot repeat what's that message I just got about my microphone issues. Sorry, Di. Yeah, I've always said if you neutralize Derrick Henry, you've beaten Tennessee. Because that's pretty much all they've got. They brought in D-Hop, and he's done. As I said Thursday, he's done this much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like the Titans now are 1-2. The season's not over as of yet. So when would you try Malik Willis? So when would you sort of see if you can bring Will Levis in a little?
So Tennessee's next game is at. It's you next. No, it's not.
No, it's not. No, it's not. That's the week after. Trust me, I know.
I'd say their bye week is ages away. It's probably not. I wouldn't even go via their bye week before bye week. I'd probably go for Colts. Get the Bengals game out of the way, put a veteran head in there, and then go in against the Bengals, 2 rookies or 2 young quarterbacks going against each other. Because they're not that good of a team. Malik Willis is completely different. He is a scrambling quarterback. He is a moving quarterback. He can run off the ball. Will Levis is big, strong. He's, Josh Allen 2.0, effectively, or meant to be. It's Josh Allen 2.0. They're leaving themselves a bit of a blank space. They're leaving Tannehill in there.
And there's your first one.
Like
Yeah,
I said, I got
it's
Taylor
like
Swift songs written down there, mate. It's fine.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't name one of her songs. Yeah. The fact that,
I
like you
only
were
know
saying
that
about
song because
Deshaun
of
Watson
Vibrant Mel,
before.
mate.
Yeah, we like metal on this show, by the way.
Hey.
Yeah, like Deshaun Watson was playing for the Texans, and he didn't have the weapons around him that he has now in Cleveland. So you can see he's more of a pass-heavy quarterback as opposed to when he used to scramble. Personally, this might be a hot take, but I'm going to say it anyway. Sorry to any Ravens fans that are listening, but I would swap LJ for Deshaun Watson all day. On the
Yeah.
field, he is class. He's unreal. I think he's so good. But like, as we said, as a person, we've got enough black marks now in our franchise history as it is. We don't need any more.
Yeah, and he's not injury prone.
And he doesn't carry the ball like a loaf of bread.
Yeah, that's very true. Denver fans, you might want to turn your mics off now or your radios off now or turn us off. We'll be back in about 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes when we rip your team apart. Russell Wilson still throw through for 306 yards.
That's mad.
But Miami Dolphins rushed for 350 yards. They put a 70 burger up. This is the first time since 1966 a team's put 70 points up on the board. And the last time 1966 happened, England won the World Cup.
And Eric Cantona was born. Which priority is more important? Yeah, anyway, go on.
You know, without Jalen Waddle, Mostert, it was like 13 carries for 82 yards. He ran in 3 touchdowns. He had a carried reception touchdown as well. Devon and Che, I want to pronounce it right. He's a rookie.
Right.
He's a rookie. He can run the 40 in 4.32. He's rapid. He ran for 203 yards. That's the pitch twice and more.
That's what you call a coming out party.
Hey, my question is, who's going to get sacked first? Russell Wilson or Sean Payton?
Well, I imagine they've chucked a lot of money at Sean Payton to come in and fix the mess that was left behind after Nathaniel Hackett last year.
Yeah.
They want, like we say about Josh McDaniels in Vegas, they can't afford to sack him, so they're not going to. Was it the fact that Miami were that good, or were Denver that bad?
6 of one, half a dozen another.
Yeah.
You know, they put up 35 points by halftime. 35 points even off. Even Mike White, I bet New York wish they never let him go, threw in a touchdown. 2 passes, 67 yards and a touchdown. Even
can't fault that. That's good numbers.
My New York might be giving Miami a phone call. Can we have our quarterback back, please? Because he's better than the one we've got using at the moment. New York, they had Joe Judy back. They've got Marvin Mims, who's a bloody good rookie. Marvin Mims. He ran in for a touchdown. Did he run in for a touchdown? No, he had a really good kick return. You know, he still has 73 yards. Cortland Sutton had 91. Joey Judy had 81. So they're you know, offense isn't bad. Normally, when you put 20 points up on a team, you think, oh, okay, we're going to be there or thereabouts beating a team. Not many teams put 20 points up on the board and lose. But this defense is shocking. You know, you've got a very, very, very good secondary in Pat Surtain. One of the best corners in the league by an absolute mile. But he can't do it all. They really need to build this defense up because they're never going to win a game unless they have that defense up. Crying loud. Okay. 3 players that are on defensive side of the ball. And I don't know why these have come up on the defensive stats on the ESPN. Russell Wilson had a tackle. Samrod Perine had a tackle. Marvin Mims had a defensive tackle, touchdown. So he had a kick return touchdown. They shouldn't be on a defensive board at all. This is how bad this defense is. And, I think they're the second worst ranked defense in the league behind Chicago at the moment. Probably even worse now. They've got 70 points put up on the board. And no, I'm not going to give Tua any praise, Ollie.
I was going to say, that was the next thing I was going to say. Now that he put up a performance like that yesterday, he threw for 309 yards and 4 touchdowns. The first touchdown to Tyreek Hill was in the first 3 plays of the game, which set the tone for the afternoon. Can we get a difference of opinion on Tua now?
No.
It's okay. Ollie's not listening. It's just me and you.
Okay. He put 36 points up against the Los Angeles Chargers defense, who are shocking. They've got Joey Bosa, and that's about it now. They've got not a lot in the second, and James Derwin. They only put 24 up against us, and one of them was our mistakes. One touchdown was our mistake. We started really slow because that's what New England did. If he could put these kind of stats up against the likes of Buffalo Bills defense, Philadelphia Eagles defense, then he's got us again.
The Niners
Kansas defense, Cowboys defense, and he's got yours at the end of the season.
If we got defense left,
if this got so his, he's a really good. He's got a really good O-line in front of him. He's already thrown for 1,000 yards so far this season in 3 games. So he's on par for a 6,000, 7,000 yard game. If he can keep these standards up and get himself a 5,000 yard game, he's had 2 interceptions, mind you. One of them to us.
Right.
So he's not had a good, really, really, really good defense in 2 games against him. And the good defense that I had against him, one of the mistakes was against us, or one of the touch games was against us, and one of the points he put on the board was our mistake.
So again, do you think it's the offense he's playing with that makes him look
Mike
good?
Daniels,
like Purdy?
Mike Daniels is a genius. Mike Daniels, I hate saying this because he's he's off that Niners tree. But he is an absolute genius. He's, we've all seen that little no-look shovel pass inside. That was designed. They actually designed that in the blooming week. So they've got the camera on the head, on his camera. We all took the mick out of that. But I think it's absolutely genius. Because you can go to Tua in the quarterback room going, right, we could blatantly tell you're looking that way. But look, that guy's in miles of space. Go for you. They're coaching Tua to be a better quarterback, which is what you need, which is what they're not doing in Atlanta. What they need to be doing in Chargers County. They're not making the quarterbacks better. Justin Herbert's a really good quarterback, mind you. But he's not being coached to be a really, really good quarterback. They are coaching Tua to be a really good quarterback. And I really don't like saying that because I think Tua is... Let's put it this way. If Tua's in Indianapolis, he'd be the biggest bust going. But because he's got a really good coaching staff going in there, and he's got a really good O-line, he has so much time, even against us, who we've got like Uche, Juwan Bentley, and Matt Judon. 3 really good pass rushers. Gonzo had a sack against him as well, mind you. They still gave him a lot of time. He didn't even get hit or sacked yesterday. That's how much time he got yesterday. It's ridiculous.
A little bonus fact as well about Mike McDaniels. He was a former Denver Broncos ball boy as well. Before he became... He was a former Denver Broncos ball boy. I'll try and find the picture of that and put it on our socials.
Is that what that was going on? What Phil kept sharing today?
Yes.
On to the next biggest blowout of the day. On to a 37-3. Washington are a mess again. They look
And the
good.
ironic thing is, they're 2-1. They're still 2-1, and the Bills are 1-2.
I know. Well, they're both 2-1 now. Yeah. Sam Howell threw 4 picks. I would love to have Ollie's take on this because he's high on Sam Howell. He's very high on Sam Howell, and Sam Howell looked like a credible quarterback against Buffalo. He's gone against a good defense, and they ripped him apart. Different schemes, hiding players, and all that. Josh Allen's threw a pick as well, mind you. Josh Allen is one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the league, I think. I'm starting to think that now.
Well, these teams are coming to win. You go against the Bills, you can expect a good defense along with a very potent offense as well. And the fact that, I'm going to miss my old buddy when I make this reference, but as Ric Flair once said, to beat the man, you got to beat the man. To beat the man, you got to beat the man. And to get good, you got to beat teams like the Bills. You've got to beat teams like the Niners and the Eagles and the Chiefs as well. But I don't think Washington are there yet. And Sam Howell throwing 4 picks, that's what will happen against good defenses.
2 of them were really bad.
Exactly.
2 of them, he was nowhere near his receiver. Literally, the receiver was like 4 yards that way, and it's like, that's just a really bad throw. It's the case again. Don't forget, this is his 5th game, 4th or 5th game now as a starter.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk about Jordan Love in a bit because there's a different situation completely. Yes, it's all fair and well sitting behind quarterback, having a rookie quarterback sitting behind a veteran for 1, 2, 3 seasons, however it is. But it's different if it's a Hall of Fame quarterback. For example, Jimmy Garoppolo sat behind Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre. Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers. There is a thing that Green Bay do, and it works, and it shows if you sit behind these really good Hall of Fame style quarterbacks, you're gonna learn a lot. And I think if Zach Wilson sat behind Aaron Rodgers like he was planned to do for the next 2 years, you would see a different Zach Wilson than what we saw on Sunday night. This is what Sam Howell had. He had Carson Wentz to sit behind. Yes, Carson Wentz had a ring, but his ring was the same as Trent Dilfer's ring. He was part of the team.
Ring is a ring. A ring is a ring, but no matter how you get it. If you're part of a roster and you've made a contribution, a ring is a ring.
Hey, that's very true. Antonio Brown got a ring for New England just because he played 3 games for us. It means nothing, mate.
One of the biggest busts of this season so far, which is surprising me because I'm a big fan of this guy, is Stephon Diggs. I would have thought that he would have been Jared Allen's main weapon, is WR1.
So he had 8 receptions from 12
much
targets yesterday.
Yeah, still no touchdowns again, and I don't think he scored a season yet.
We've seen a lot. They are best buddies, as you call them. That's so weird for me. Obviously, my partner's Welsh, and
when you go from both sides.
It is really weird. It's like right. But we've seen those two have a lot of blow-ups, a lot of arguments, a lot of going on to each other, and I think they're starting to get into each other's skins now. Stephon Diggs probably knows he's in his final year, 2, 3 years of winning a Super Bowl ring. I wouldn't be surprised, say, he had got wind to say San Francisco or Miami came in for him. Probably the 2 teams' favorite team to go to the Super Bowl at the minute.
Oh, can you imagine him on those offenses as well? Oh my
exactly. Word. Here we go. Get me there. He'll be going to his agent. I don't care what it is. Get me there. I'll buy my contract out. He would want to go to get a ring. He's obviously seen Josh have this massive contract that he got last season. And he's now knowing that we can't go and get a Debo type player to be a WR2 or WR1. We can't go and get, a Dalvin Cook or Christian McCaffrey or those kind of running backs to that next level. We heard, I was on the off season that Jonathan Taylor was one of the teams that wanted Jonathan Taylor's Buffalo Bills. They'd have to
Mm.
do a lot of contracting restructuring to get that kind of player, and they don't have the cap space to be able to do that. And I think Stefan Diggs knows this now and is like, I've had 3 years here. 3 times on the... No, 2 years. This is the third year. 3 years on the bounce. I've had to watch the confetti go down on other teams. And I don't want to be doing that anymore. And I think he's now known, look, my time is running out. And it's really frustrating him, and he really wants to get himself a ring. And he deserves a ring because he's a class player. He's a really, really good top end wide receiver.
And the fact that they need a star running back, then, let's put it this way. They got James Cook at the moment, who he's all right, serviceable, does a job. Latavius Murray, who played for us last season, like he's a journeyman, one of those plug and play players, as Phil likes to say. But no, I think he could use the Jonathan Taylor situation as leverage to get out to Buffalo, maybe.
So going into the draft this year, there's a very, very good running back in Michigan State called Brian Corrin. He wears number 2. He rushed for over 1,500 yards last year. He scored multiple touchdowns. He's going to the draft. He will be one of the, if not the top running back going to this draft. That, you could plug him in and have that Bijan Robinson style effect straight away at a running back in that kind of player. He is that explosive, that quick. But yeah, they do need a star running back to go along with, they've got a couple of good, they've got 2 really good tight ends in Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid, the rookie himself. They've got Stefan Diggs, Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
But what have they got wide receiver after that?
Trent Sherfield.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not a lot after. Yeah, so like I said, they would need someone like Jonathan Taylor to complement the rest of the offense.
Yeah, most definitely. My hamster's
Come on, Ebert, where we going next? Where we going next?
My hamster was making really weird noises behind me.
Hamster.
So he mentioned Bijan Robinson. It's over his team who had a beat down, not as badly as a lot of teams for. We're going to see them. Well, I'm going to be seeing them. Me and Ollie. They're going to be over here in the UK on Sunday. They're flying out here tomorrow. Actually, Atlanta Falcons are. I think Detroit flying out on Wednesday. So Jared Goff took 800 odd passes till he got reception. He's got 2 games and a bounce or interception.
Yeah.
But they stopped Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, which disappointed me slightly because I'm also a big fan of him as well, and I will every week put up some sort of wager on him crossing that plane. And I'm gutted they didn't this week because he's an absolute beast.
Atlanta I don't think they're that many places away from being a really good team.
What's missing then? What do you think's missing?
I think they need a couple of defensive tackles. They got Trey Flowers in there as well. Zach Harrison's a good D-man. D. Orford as well. Jesse Bates is a brilliant defensive back. He had another interception as well. And he stopped Drake London a couple of times as well with some big tackles. I think they need some O-line, and they need a couple more O-line, a couple of D-line, and a quarterback. They're not going to get a Caleb Williams, who's probably going to be number 1, no matter what, if he enters the draft this year. But yeah, Desmond Ridder is a very good bridge quarterback. He reminds me a lot of Carson Wentz, which is a bit worrying.
I mean, I think someone who's very overrated, well, I would say that if he's rated in the beginning, is Kyle Pitts. 9 targets, 5 receptions, 41 yards. Again, I just don't think it's worked out for him in Atlanta,
I've seen a couple of his throws. So when they say targets, if the quarterback's throwing the ball away and it's in the general vicinity of the player, that's classed as a target. Oh, wait a minute there, man. Playing the hokey cokey. He knows in and out. But when again, you got the other end, the tight end that was drafted by Detroit, Sam Laporte had a brilliant game. 8
Yes.
carries, 8 receptions, 84 yards and a tiddy. That's tiddy, not for anyone else says anything
And a
else.
teddy. Yeah, let's not get demonetized.
I want to say as well, Aiden Hutchin is the fastest player to 10 sacks. Faster than Nick Bosa. Faster than Nick Bosa.
Stop it now. Stop winding them up because they know you to defend themselves.
Hey, Mr. Perry's had to go at the Patriots. I'm going to just poke a bear a little bit. But it's true. He's faster. He's the fastest tight end or the fastest defensive end to 10 sacks in the NFL. 20 games. This guy is
and
the
the fact
real
that this
deal.
is his second season. Oh yeah, 100%. And the fact that this is his second season, there's no, being scared of the big show. Do you know what I mean? There's no sort of being scared of the lights and being at the epitome of your career where you worked for years. There's no fear whatsoever in that guy.
I mean, don't forget, he's Michigan born and raised. He went to Michigan High School. He went to Michigan Wolverines College. He now plays for Michigan State, a team in Michigan. He is the best player to come out of Michigan ever.
He's as Detroit as RoboCop is.
Yeah. I'll let you read this one out, Mr. Harris.
What do you want, die? Take the boy out the valleys. You can't take the internet connection from the valleys away from the boy.
And Kelly with Moivor Hatch and the fact his sister sang the national anthem of the game. Yes, that I did not know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No. Let's give some love in for Brian Branch. So he's the only player who came back on day 2 out of the guys who went in day 1. He had 11 tackles yesterday, 3 tackles for a loss, and 2 pass deflections. He's another really good pickup. They picked him up, I want to say about
second round, right?
Yeah, second round. I think it's about 4th or 5th pick in the second round. He's another. They've had 2 rookie performances yesterday. Sam Laporte and Brian Branch were absolutely brilliant.
I can't believe Brian Branch fell that far, to be fair. Because we had him going in the first round.
A lot of us had him going in the top 20. It's really, really good. Really, really like that. Yeah. Detroit, that's singing. They are starting to sing there. They go to 2-1. They've got a couple of nice games coming up lately as well. Obviously, they got Green Bay on Thursday night. And then they go to Carolina, and they got Carolina and Tampa. And then they got you boys.
Yeah, we all know, as has been well documented previously, that the Lions are all of our second favourite team here on the show. And yeah, it's going to be a shame when we beat them, but we will.
Oh, yes.
Hopefully.
Like I said,
if we can, it's the injuries again.
I was about to say, if you can keep players fit, it might be slightly different. Yeah.
As you know, right, the 15th of October will probably be one of the best days of my life, and it will be a dream fulfilled to me actually seeing my Baltimore Ravens in the flesh.
Laura, how many people are actually going to be there? With you, please. When you come in a couple of weeks, can you bring some tissues with you, please? He's going to need them.
Oh, I'll be crying. You can guarantee it. But like I said, the only thing is, how many fit starters are we going to have?
Oh, Kelly says Lions for the Super Bowl.
Good shout, bro.
It feels like here to slay me. Yeah. I've always said every time it is not always the best team that makes the Super Bowl. It's the team that can keep their stars the fittest.
Always. 100%.
So New Orleans paid a big amount of money to Derek Carr to be their quarterback. Derek Carr has now got a shoulder injury. So they're going to Mr. Interception himself, Jameis Winston.
Yep.
But Jordan Love has taken the Aaron Rodgers ship and jumped on it to fourth quarter quarterbacks as well. Or comebacks, not quarterbacks. Comebacks. It was absolutely, I mean, there were some really, really bad throws as well again. But this comes back to me saying earlier on, like Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder, for example, quarterbacks who sit behind Hall of Fame style quarterbacks learn Hall of Fame style plays, mentality. There's that, they love Jordan Love in in it's a proper love affair down there in Green Bay. Up there in Green Bay. Yes, that is another Taylor song.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't been able to shoehorn a few more in yet. I've got a few more to shoehorn in. Somehow. But until Derek Carr went down, Green Bay were nowhere. Jordan Love couldn't throw the ball, couldn't find a receiver for love or money. They were struggling. Romeo Dobbs looks a great corner. Second round pick from last year. Luke Musgrave, great tight end they picked up this year. Chris Olave is ridiculous. Have you seen his one-handed catch?
Yeah. We know I was a big fan of Chris Olave coming out of the draft last year, and he was my player to keep an eye on, my rookie to keep an eye on for the year. I'm a big fan. Yeah. I think he's brilliant. And once again, he stole the show with that catch. What a fantastic catch.
It's just popped up on my screen, actually. Yeah. Can Green Bay run Detroit all the way? Is it between Detroit and Green Bay for the North?
No, I still don't think. I don't think Green Bay are there yet. I think the Lions are there.
Yeah,
but I don't think Green Bay are there.
I really do like what they're doing, what they're rebuilding there. There is some really good players, especially on that offensive side of the ball. I'm not quite sure their defensive side of the ball, but offensive, they're looking really, really good and really strong down there. I think this is shock number 4 of the week.
Oh yeah, this is definitely shock week.
Houston beating UK's second team, Jacksonville.
That's what's known in my trade as a coupon buster.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Mate, I'm a gambler. We all know those types of things.
100%.
Jacksonville didn't get scoring to the third quarter. Trevor Lawrence looked
they shut him down.
Really, really poor. But CJ Stroud, welcome to the NFL, my friend.
Oh, he played well yesterday. He played well. After the cruel summer that he experienced over the last 2 weeks. There you go. There's my first one. He played really well yesterday.
Stingray, I mean, it was their first win of the season. He threw for 280 passes, 280 yards, and a couple of TDs. CJ Stroud, QB rating of 83.8, one of the highest ones of the day. Can this this Jacksonville not turn up next week? Can we actually have the proper Jacksonville that played, most of last season and the first couple of weeks this week?
Like I said, but that really surprised me yesterday. I think Jacksonville were a shoo-in to win yesterday, but apparently not. Apparently everyone pulls off.
But it wouldn't be Jacksonville if they didn't come to the UK on a losing record.
Yeah, 100%. And I just think they're a very talented team on both sides of the ball. I just don't know how they fell apart yesterday. Was it, again, like the Denver-Miami game? Were the Texans that good, or were the Jags really that bad?
6 one half dozen the other. I really do think.
I think again.
Underestimated how good CJ Stroud is, which is strange, I think. And I think they just are. Hey, it's an AFC South matchup. It's a divisional rivalry. I heard you say on the other show, rivalry games on Thursday night, rivalry games are second to none. They're unpredictable.
Yeah, the form book goes completely out the window for the rivalry games.
You referenced United against Liverpool, for example. We've gone into games like last season, for example, when we were battered the first 2 games by Brighton and I want to say Brentford.
It was Brighton and it was Brentford. Yeah.
And then we went to Anfield and beat them.
Oh no! They come to Old Trafford and we beat them, and we played them there. And I don't want to talk about that ever again.
Yeah, we won't talk about that one. Oh yeah, I remember that one. Oh god.
Yeah, let's not.
Thank God our Geordie friend's not with us today.
Oh yeah.
So it is that kind of thing. Anything can go. even doesn't matter how bad the team is in Texans sake, because they are in a serious rebuild mode, and there's a lot of places, a lot of holes that need filling in that Texans. Jacksonville are nearly there, probably a couple of cornerbacks away from being a really good team, but yeah, Houston are going in the right direction.
I think but it's like after the first 2 weeks, they lost to us on the opening day, but then they played the following week and lost again. I think D'Amico Ryan just took CJ Stroud to one side and said, "Look, shake it off. You'll be fine. You'll be fine." And then no, I see there's another Tay reference in. You missed it. And so I think
he knew he was trouble.
There you go. The reason for these references will become apparent fairly soon if you don't already know. But I think he played really well yesterday. Maybe this is a sign of things to come.
If someone said to me 4 weeks ago, Las Vegas Chargers, or Las Vegas, that's a new one. Los Angeles Chargers and Minnesota Vikings will be 0-2, and one of them are going to be 0-3 going into week 4. I would say they'd be smoking the wacky stuff. I was talking to Kelly on the way home yesterday. I could see Minnesota knocking on Indianapolis' door going, "Can we have your running back, please?" They have got a serious issue in their run game there. Yes, Alexander Mattison ran for 93 yards yesterday. His ball security is shocking. He had, was it 2 or 3 fumbles yesterday? Oh no, one got turned down. His ball security is shocking. The run game is so poor. Even when Kirk Cousins can still run 10 yards, that says something. They need a running back in that game. They really stupid to let go Dalvin Cook for what they did. If I was the GM in Minnesota, I'd be knocking on the door of Indianapolis going, "Can we have your running back, please?" Because they need something in there.
Speaking of shocking run games, do you know how many rushing yards, the Chargers got yesterday? Give me a number between 29 and 31.
I was about to say, I've got the stats in front of me.
30. Well, people who listen on Spotify don't know that, so don't stop spoiling the magic of the show.
I mean,
30 yards of run offense. That's poor.
Justin Herbert still ran through 405 yards. But let's forget.
He was their main offensive weapon yesterday.
They've lost one of their other main offensive weapons, is Mike Williams. Nasty ACL injury. Even caught a pass on Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen received 215 yards. He threw for 49 yards, including a touch. He threw for a touchdown.
Wait, Keenan Allen threw for a touchdown?
Threw for a touchdown. That trick
I must have missed that yesterday.
And from Justin Herbert to Keenan Allen to Mike Williams was a touchdown.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, I was going to say, I was probably sulking, and I missed that.
Mate, you probably went to the... I know you're like me. You probably went for the piss at the wrong time. Or beer.
Wow. Oh, that may have something to do with it.
1 or 2 bows down the can. Yeah, I got you, mate.
You got him.
Justin Jefferson finally got himself on the scoreboard. 7 for 149 yards. I also heard someone go that Kirk Cousins is in his last year at Minnesota. If they were in New York, they would be knocking on the door of Minnesota going, "Can we have your quarterback?" And if I was Minnesota, I'd be giving them 3 fingers. You had to work that one out then, didn't you?
Yeah, it took a while. But then again, this is the first week of the regular season that Jordan Addison hasn't scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only week 3, but it just goes to show. He had 6 receptions for 52 yards. So it was kind of a quiet game yesterday. But I still think he's got plenty to offer the team.
They were just shy of 800 yards through the air yesterday. New York. Sorry, why have I got New York in my head? Los Angeles threw for 445 yards. Kirk threw for 345. They were just shy of 800 yards yesterday. Quick, mate, yeah. 790 yards. I had to really wrote that out then. It's ridiculous, isn't it? You know.
Like I said, yeah. I still can't believe they're 0-3. You know, if the Bengals lose tonight, they'll be 0-3 as well. And who would have predicted that in preseason? Both those teams will be 0-3 in the first 3 games.
And the statistics are, if you're 0-3, you're very unlikely to make the Super Bowl or make the playoffs. So I think it's less than 10% chance of making the playoffs. Yeah, going to be an interesting one. Carolina without the number 1 pick of Bryce Young. But Andy Dalton did all right. It still threw for 2 touchdowns, 361 yards. But their defense let them down. This team's on a massive rebuild, isn't it?
Yeah. To be honest with you, I think that the Panthers were one of my dark horses in preseason because they've started to sort of, they've started to build. You know, they brought in former Raven Hayden Hurst. They brought him in Adam Thielen, who I'm a big fan of. They brought him in as well, and with Bryce Young. You know, the first pick in the draft, I was thinking they're going to at least win a division. Nope. 0-3.
0-3. They're in a division that's probably this year's the NFC East. It is a dumpster fire. There's no good teams in this team yet. You know, there's probably going to be a team with a losing record into the playoffs, although Baker Mayfield's Tampa Bay Buccaneers might turn that show differently. But Adam Thielen, 11 receptions for 145 yards from 14 targets and a TD. Why did Minnesota not re-sign him?
I was going to say some things in life are a mystery, you know. And I forgot they also brought in Miles Sanders as well from the Eagles.
Yeah.
Who's their first, you know, who's their RB1, but they've just done Jonathan Mingo as well. Nothing yesterday. Adam Thielen scored a touchdown, which is good. I mean, we can't gloss over this game without mentioning Kenneth Walker scoring 2 touchdowns. Form is temporary, class is permanent. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Before we go on to the love affair, there was 2 teams, because Adam Thielen was an undrafted rookie. There was 2 teams that hosted him after the draft. Who are those 2 teams?
Ooh, good question.
I'll give you clues.
I don't
know.
For
them. I'll give you a clue.
Vikings is one. Vikings is one.
Yep. And
the Panthers is 2.
Carolina's the other.
No way.
So he played for the only 2 teams that wanted him coming out of the draft.
Bit of familiarity there then. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a bit of loyalty. And I like that.
Yeah,
and he's a really, really good player. So we probably had the internet broken yesterday about a certain Tay. This is why the real reason Ollie's not in here, because he's very depressed. He thought he saw a chance to Taylor Swift, you know. He's even started trying to go Tash to look like, Travis Kelce. He finally admitted that Travis Kelce is better than George Kittle. You know, it's crazy. You know.
It's all right because Mark Andrews is better than both of them.
Oh, I don't know about that, mate.
I would say that.
And Henry any day. But she saw 15. So another song. Played.
No, I'm losing at this
really
game now.
Well. You know, 3 touchdowns, 272 yards with a bit of a dicky ankle because he went over and again. Come out of the game. Blaine Gabbert threw 5 passes. 2 of them were interceptions.
See, we even got a bonus Blaine Gabbert sighting last night.
Yeah.
And this, do you think right? Let me cast your mind back. You know when David Beckham first got with Victoria, and there was the whole sort of media aspect, and a big, massive light shined on him. Now, do you think if this relationship with Taylor Swift does go anywhere, do you think that could potentially affect him on the field?
No.
No?
Not in a million years.
Okay.
I think he's too much professional. David Beckham didn't have any issues when Posh came on there. He just had a boot kicked at him.
And effigies burnt of him.
Yeah, and all that as well. But that wasn't down to him. That was, never mind. And I think there is very straight and narrow, very sensible thinking players in Kansas. Andy Reid being one of them. You know, the defensive coordinator his head slipped my head. He's always on his hands on his knees whenever the play's playing. I can't think his head. Patrick Mahomes will keep, and is probably Patrick Mahomes' wife, will keep him on a straight and narrow going, don't be an idiot, you know. Let's not forget, Travis Kelce is what, 33 now? So he's only got a couple of years left of his career anyway. So he's probably at the end of his contract. Every time we saw him do something good, and let's pan up to the, oh, look, there's Taylor with his mum. It was getting a
How
bit...
serious is it? How serious is it then if he's hanging out with his mother?
So the story is, because he said this on the Pat McCaffrey show earlier, that he hit her up saying, I've seen you rock out at Arrowhead. Now it's time for you to come see me rock out at Arrowhead. Or something like that, light it up, or something along them lines anyway. So that's why she got the invite back. Jason Kelce has gone, yeah, there's something going on there. In not so many words. You know, if you listen to the New Heights podcast, or, you know, the Kelce brothers pretty much said something about that along them lines as well. Yeah, I there's no smoke without fire, mate.
That's exactly what I was going to say. But anyway, away from the tabloid gossip, we honestly, God, we sound like journalists for the Sun. Come on, let's do what we're supposed to do. Get back in our box as broadcast journalist extraordinaires. The first point I want to make is it me or is Kadarius Toney regressing? 1 target, 1 catch, -1 yards.
So I watched a video earlier on. Julian Edmonds said, "Trust is everything with your quarterback." You will see Rashee Rice getting shitloads of touches. Marcus Valdes-Scantling get targets. Obviously, Travis get loads of targets. How often do those guys drop the ball? How often did Juju drop the ball last year? Exactly.
He's been dragged through the mud at the minute.
Yeah. Chicago is where quarterbacks go to die.
It's not looking good.
Mitch Trubisky, they were high on him. They traded up to him. They traded up above Kansas to get Mitch Trubisky instead of taking Patrick Mahomes. How did that work out for you guys? I can't remember if not. I don't think no. Yeah, they even traded up above New England to get Justin Fields instead of Mac Jones. How does that work out for you guys?
I think they got a better end of the deal, to be fair.
Justin Fields is going to be out this league within 3 years' time.
Wow, you heard it here first, folks.
Unless they sort this coaching staff out, unless they deal with the O-line. He got hit 12 times yesterday. Yes, that's no Joe Burrow. That's no Joe Burrow's numbers or anything like that, but he's not Joe Burrow's. We saw a play from last week where he was like, literally, he's running through his progressions and the players come across and he's smack bang. He's got about 15 yards either side of him, free. And if Justin Fields hits him, he's in for a touchdown. Justin Fields head down, gone, ran into his own player's arse. Justin Fields is not the player who was in his rookie season. He's regressed massively. You know, he is QBR rating of 18.6 yesterday. His QBR rating is 34th in the league.
Wow.
There's only 32 teams.
Like I know. I was going to say, how is that even possible? But I'm a big fan of Justin Fields. To me, as I said before, he's like a poor man's Lamar Jackson or a poor man's, I hate to say it, Michael Vick, because he's one of the most scrambling quarterbacks.
He's when you order Michael Jackson, Lamar Jackson off Wish.
Yeah, if you order my ljofwish.com. I mean,
Yeah.
one positive they can have from yesterday's game was DJ Moore caught his first touchdown pass as a Bear yesterday, which is nice.
Yeah, but I'd be really
Other than
worried. I
that,
mean,
yeah.
we've got the battle. I mean, football. We always so next week is Bears Broncos. We normally
Mm,
say, "Yay, football's going to win." Yeah, football's not going to win.
I feel sorry for the
Football's gonna
fans.
go to die. You know, I don't even think the fans are going to go there tomorrow next week. um, Shall we roll on to Glendale, Arizona?
Yes, we can. How about nah?
Right. I hope Kincaid is still on.
Tayo,
Because
wake up.
you have got a very good quarterback in Joshua Dobbs.
There's words that don't go together in a sentence, which I never thought anybody would say. That being the sentence.
So let's put this in perspective. Joshua Dobbs was only with the team 10 days before week 1. And then look at his progression. His QBR rating was 84.1 yesterday. He's the 11th best quarterback in the league at the moment. And when you've got a running back as good as James Conner in your backfield, hallelujah. But Dallas couldn't get going. They couldn't get going at all yesterday. They were shockingly bad.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. As much as Ollie would argue with me on this one, I don't see anything in the Cowboys myself. I don't know how. As I said, they remind me of an elephant stuck in a tree. How do you get up here? And it won't be long before he comes down. You know.
Second I've
And
heard you say that. That makes me laugh.
It's funny. It's funny. I like it. Oh, the old ones are the best.
Always.
Yeah, even
dad jokes.
Tony. Oh, brilliant! Tony Pollard rushed for 122 yards yesterday. Didn't get on the scoreboard though. Dak got picked off as well. He threw for 249 yards, which to be fair is decent numbers.
Yeah.
But like we said, who in their right mind would have had money or any hope or faith at all on the Cardinals winning?
Cardinals fans. Okay.
Yeah, but even they didn't believe
you
it.
have one in. Just so Kelly knows, CeeDee Lamb only got 53 yards yesterday. I'm sorry, he ruined your bet. She had a couple of players and CeeDee Lamb. Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Pollard to score as well.
Yeah, I mean, he did everything but score. Oh, and he did go backwards when he received as well. They do have a really good tight end in. That's such a bad phrase to say. Really good tight end in Jake Ferguson. I do like him, and they seem to like him as well. But let's put praise into Arizona. You know, Joshua Dobbs didn't turn the ball over yesterday. He only threw it 21 times, 198 yards. He had a couple of rushes for 55. Well, 6 rushes for 55 yards. A couple of them were for key first downs, like big first downs. You know, to stop a 3-and-out type situation. They picked off Dak. They got to Dak 18 times yesterday.
Wow.
And this is this brilliant Dallas O-line that they've got down here.
Yes, it was the O-line.
Exactly. It wasn't a classic. It was a blood, sweat, and tears game because it really was a hard-hitting game. And it was pretty much, when you say 16-28 defensively, it's not that good of a defensive game, but it was a really good defensive game. You know, when you had Micah Parsons, 5 tackles, 1 sack, tackle for a loss, and a couple of QB hits in there as well. You know, Jalen Thompson had 8 tackles. Kazir White had 14 tackles on Arizona side of it. Dallas is going to go very, very far in this league in this year because of that defense. They have a very, very good defense and probably the best defensive player in the league, and is probably going to be the best defensive player in the league for the next 4 or 5 years in Micah Parsons. Sorry, you Niner fans. That's on our show. I know you gonna deny that one. Actually, no. To be fair, no, they do agree that Micah Parsons is a great player. I think this is a blip in the Dallas Cowboys game. It's going to be interesting when they go against New England next week, and that New England's defense. I think that could be a really good defensive game again. But yeah, we'll see when that comes around next week, I think.
I think this is an interesting like fork in the road for the Cardinals now. They're coming off a really, really big win.
Yep.
But then it's like this metaphorically going out of the frying pan into the raging inferno next week. Do you think they can pull off the upset win against the Niners? Another question that needs to be asked as well is if Joshua Dobbs is capable of putting together a performance like this. What happens when Kyler comes back?
Well, Kyler is their franchise quarterback. So Kyler will start no matter what. And Joshua Dobbs probably knows that. But Joshua Dobbs will put himself in the shop window now going, look at all these teams that need quarterbacks next year. Washington.
Yeah.
Tennessee. Denver. New York. That's green New York. Probably even Atlanta.
New York.
Possibly Minnesota. Don't forget, Kirk Cousins' contract's up at the end of the season. They're going to start. They're going to start with him all day long.
So moving on to the final game of yesterday, those horrible towel spinning people. Yes. Oh wait, we passed the watershed. Yeah, I'm still not going to call them what I want to call them. Against the Raiders. I'll let you take this one, Ollie, because in all honesty, I can't bring myself to watch them.
Has anyone seen the tweet that Davante Adams put up?
I haven't, no.
It goes along the lines of going, what the effing hell are we doing? Why are we taking a field goal when we're 4-2 and a touchdown and a 2-point would tie the game? Mr. Perrins has referenced several times that Las Vegas are cash-strapped and that's why they can't sack McDaniels. And they've also referenced several times how bad Jimmy Garoppolo is. You now got Jimmy Garoppolo in concussion protocol. So very likely that Aiden O'Connell will take the snaps, takes under center on Sunday. I think it's more of Las Vegas played badly than Pittsburgh played well. Mr. Cade, there was a moment when the Cowboys were like a touchdown behind, maybe in the third. Did think we were going to bottle it again. I was pleasantly surprised, mind. So was I when I woke up.
You can tell he's a Valleys by the way he types, the way he speaks.
Oh mate, that was painful reading. So I mean, my partner's Welsh. I can
so she about you might
a little bit. Take a minute a little bit. Davante Adams has got a point. You're not going to go anywhere with Jacoby Myers. That's on the wide receiver with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. Because Pittsburgh didn't light it up yesterday. I mean, Kenny Pickett only threw for 228 yards and still got 2 touchdowns. I think there even was a defensive touchdown on there as well, wasn't there? No, there wasn't a defensive touchdown. Pittsburgh weren't that good. Las Vegas made them look like Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, sometimes you get games like that. I mean, I think with the Raiders, they've got so much talent. They got with the likes of Josh Jacobs and Davante Adams, and even on the defensive side of the ball with Max Crosby. It's a shame, but this happens to thousands of players over the years. It's a shame that players with this amount of talent will never win anything.
My issue is that Hunter Renfrow is not getting any targets. Hunter Renfrow 2 years ago was WR1 there before Davante Adams. He's a W1 caliber wide receiver. Yet he's not getting the ball. He had 2 targets and both of them were receptions. But Jimmy Garoppolo said earlier on about Brock Purdy not taking deep shots. Doesn't really not make any connections, deep shots. I don't remember Jimmy Garoppolo this season trying to throw the ball further than 20 yards. Trying to dump it behind the wide receiver, behind the linebackers. He is just enough to get over the first down, normally.
He's basically a check mark quarterback.
Yeah, check down. There you go. There's my safety target. Yeah. There's my safety target. 2 players had 32 targets. Now Jacoby Myers and Davante Adams.
Mark them out high on Jacoby Myers. Yeah, because he played for you last year, didn't he?
Yeah, 33 million. Well, we could have kept him for 33 million instead of paying for Juju for 33 million, but hey, that's a different story altogether. Yeah. Sorry, John. Until you get rid of Jimmy G, Las Vegas, you are going nowhere. Good job you're hosting the Super Bowl because you're not going to see your team in your stadium this year, mate. So
I think that's it. Yeah, on to our 2 Monday night. Yeah, on to the 2 Monday night games tonight.
I'm just trying to find the thing.
I got them in front of me. The Eagles will travel to Raymond James to play the Bucks.
Yep.
And the Rams will travel to Cincinnati to play the Bengals.
So the Bucks against the Eagles was one of our predictor games.
Yes.
The 3 of us went Eagles. Oh yeah.
Eagles.
You 2 didn't read out my predictions on Thursday. Should I give them now?
In all honesty, I will apologize in advance. It was like, as I said, it was like mom and dad leaving the house and leaving the kids to just carry on. We had like Harry Bowen Red Bull for breakfast, and we were just flying by the seat of our pants. I do apologize.
Mate, so I went Green Bay, I went Lions, yep. I went Vikings, so I got that wrong, and I got on Eagles for tonight. Me, yourself, and Baby Hope have all gone Eagles, and Mr. Perrins, Sir, Mr. Teacher, has gone for Tampa Bay. Can I be honest?
Go on, bud.
That's not a bad shout from Mr. Perrins.
I know. This game is basically a coin flip. I got to be honest because the Bucks are playing so well.
So far Baker Mayfield this season, yes, his QBR rating smack bang in the middle at 15. He's thrown for 490 yards. He's thrown for 3 touchdowns. He hasn't turned the ball over. Admittedly, his defenses have been against Chicago and Minnesota, but he still hasn't turned the ball over, and he's only been sacked once.
We thought Baker was going to be a seat filler until they found somebody else, but apparently he can lead his team.
We've said this a few times in this show the last season. Quarterback moves team, rejuvenates them. Matt Stafford to LA Rams. Jared Goff to Detroit Lions. I think Baker Mayfield's going to be finding his feet. They're never going to be the Tom Brady Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No, it's like New England under Mac are never going to be the Tom Brady Mac Patriots. And there's a lot of Patriots fans that need to remember that. We were very lucky under having the GOAT as our quarterback for 20 years. The weather tonight doesn't look good. It's 88 degrees with a chance of storms, which could fade into the very, very heavy run game of Philadelphia with their very, very good quarterback sneaks. But yeah, I still do think it's going to be a close game, and I think Philly will take it just.
Like I said, I think the fact that Baker Mayfield has taken this offense, it's a very good start to life in Tampa for him. Nobody thought that they would do anything with it 2-0. And yeah, like you said, I think it will be a close game tonight, but I do think the Eagles have enough in the tank to get the job done.
Yeah, definitely. LA Rams and the Bengals. This is going to be an interesting game.
I'm praying for 0-3.
So we're still waiting to find out if Mr. Burrows is going to play. I do believe it is going to be a game day decision. So we are going to have to wait until like 11 o'clock at night to see if he's playing or not. If he's playing, it's going to be I think Bengals nipping it. If he's not, it's going to be a Rams rump.
Rams win.
Yeah.
So you think he basically makes all the difference?
Yeah. They've got to get him and Jamar Chase, that connection of him and Jamar Chase again, because Jamar Chase, he's in one of my fantasy teams. I think he scored me about grand total of 10 points.
Yeah, see, he is very much the draft bust at the moment. I think he was taken quite early in a vast majority of drafts, all over the world,
Yep.
the country. But yeah, like you said, they struggled. They struggled against us last week. We going into the season, I said on a completely different podcast, our old buddy Andy Davis, doing the Ravens season preview, that we wouldn't beat the Bengals, home or away, but we did because they struggled against us last week. And but the thing, I think they've got enough in them to turn the ship around. I think they'll win this week. As much as I hate to say it, I want to see it 0-3, but I don't think I will.
So a calf injury is a really weird injury. It takes a while to recover properly.
Yeah.
He went down week 1 of preseason for the preseason game. I think it's 10 days before preseason 1. So he obviously wasn't fully fit, and there's your issue. I think he's not fully fit. That's going to be interesting. Somehow we've managed to waffle on for like nearly an hour and a half.
I know. And if you're still with us, fair play to you. Thanks for sticking around.
Oh yes. So all 4 of us will be back on Thursday show. We say hopefully on Thursday show to preview the first UK game, international game of the year. I can't believe we're coming around to that. Mr. Perrins was saying on Thursday that seasons of feel like he's going to the first international game. Well, he's here this week. Looking forward to that. We've managed to shoehorn some Taylor Swift songs, so your Swiftie fans, hopefully you'll be happy with that one.
It's okay, we can work on Metallica songs next week.
Obviously we're going to have... Yeah, we're not singing. Me and Mr. Harris do not have the best singing voices.
Whoa! Speak for yourself, pal.
If you want anyone to sing, ask everyone. Tweet Mr. Perrins, ask him to sing. He's done rookie karaoke. He'll sing for you.
Have a minute. Oh, have a minute now. Being Welsh, I don't need a bucket to carry a tune, if you know what I mean.
No comment. So yeah, we'll be back on Thursday at 8:30 to obviously preview or review tonight's games. We all know the news that Usher's going to be the halftime show at Super Bowl, so we're going to be talking about that. I've got a couple of videos put up on the one. Have you seen the Odell Beckham doing it?
Doing what?
So Kim Kardashian's, done the.
Oh yeah. I saw the Kim K.
There's an Odell Beckham version of it as well.
Oh, I'm not happy. I think he's past it now. I mean, saying that, I enjoyed last year's when they had. I couldn't enjoy it that much. I can't remember.
Katy Perry?
Oh no, it was Rihanna last year, wasn't it? This year, sorry.
Yes, it was Rihanna. Oh yeah, Katy Perry had a weird dancing shark in the background, didn't she?
And we had Eminem the year before. Eminem was great, mate. Really good.
Oh, mate, that was awesome. Anyway, we'll talk more about that on Thursday night.
Yes.
I mean, Katie's happy.
Oh, Di's happy with us, Sherlock.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back as a foursome on Thursday night. Ladies and gentlemen, good night and stay safe.